Well, good evening, everyone. Physically present in the room, virtually present over the phone. This is our traditional introduction to CPE, where we traditionally have our very cherished speaker from the American Baptist Seminary of the West, Professor Peter Luigi Clark, who is a professor of pastoral care at the American Baptist Seminary of the West, and is a board-certified chaplain, and is a CPE certified supervisor. So he, both as a professor of pastoral care and a CPE supervisor, is always very helpful in introducing the CPE process to the students who are thinking about having this important experience. And the way we traditionally have this session is that we have about an hour of introduction and Q&A with Professor Clark. And then we have some time with students who have done CPE recently. And we have Ashley this year, and Caitlin should also come in, where they will also present some about their perspective about applying to CPE, interviewing, and then actually doing CPE. So then you hear both from a CPE supervisor and then later from other StarKing students. You'll be welcome to ask questions. It's usually quite interactive and quite engaging, even if I heard it many times. And
yeah, this is an ordeal for you. Every year you have to do it.
I enjoy that. And I'm very happy to, I have been coordinating the CPE experience in the last few years here at StarKing, and Octavio Carrasco as my student assistant has been also focused on CPE since last year. So then you can also ask us questions in terms of other more StarKing related questions about how you're getting the credit, etc.
Good evening, everybody. I'm glad to be with you all this evening, virtually and in the room. And I wanted to say one other thing about who I am and my affiliation before I got started talking about CPE, and that is that my work in the GTU is my night job. My day job is I work at UCSF Medical Center in San Francisco, and I'm a CPE supervisor there. My title there is Manager of Spiritual Care Services. I wanted to say that as a way of letting you know that I do have a vested interest in CPE because it is my day job. And also I want to be clear that tonight I'm not here to try to recruit people for UCSF. I'm here to talk more generally about CPE and try to answer whatever questions you might have about it. Because when we have the CPE information fair, which will be on October the 12th at the CDSP campus, I'll be representing UCSF there, so I'll be very partisan at that gathering. But tonight I'm here on behalf of all of my ACPE colleagues to talk a lot about CPE and to try to answer whatever questions I can answer for you. So I'm very glad to do this. This is, I think, my 5th or 6th time to come here and be with you all here at StarKing. For some reason, they keep inviting me, and I'm glad to do it. I'm very happy to join you all. In my experience, StarKing students have been very good about applying for CPE and taking advantage of the educational opportunity that CPE offers. And I think it's a wonderful thing. I wish that more students at my seminary did it, frankly. So what you're getting passed out here, among other things, is a list of 10 commandments. I'm very biblical because I'm Baptist. So I think in commandments and biblical passages, and I came up with 10 commandments for applying to CPE interviews. Things to remember, things to think about as you're thinking about applying for CPE programs. And when I say CPE programs, I need to be clear that I'm talking about programs that are affiliated and accredited by the Association for Clinical Pastoral Education, or ACPE. There are other organizations like the College of Pastoral Supervision and Psychotherapy that offer CPE. I do not have the qualifications or credentials to talk about CPSP or other organizations. I'm here on behalf of ACPE. ACPE centers are the ones that will be at the October 12th event. So if you're interested in a CPSP center or anything like that, I really can't help you this evening. I can talk a little bit generally about what you could probably expect in one of those centers, but I really can't speak with any knowledge or any real sense of insider help about those.
And this is Gabriella. If I can add something, especially for people that are on the UU ordination track, it is really strongly suggested that you go through a CPE certified site. If you go through a CPE certified site, that the CPE experience is automatically accepted. If you don't, they evaluate case by case. And I can tell you more privately, in case you decide to go through a CPE site. But I just had last week a long conversation with David Pitti from the Ministerial and Credentialing Committee, and I mean they consistently have some not positive experience sometimes with other centers, and so they prefer, you can argue with the MSC, but they strongly prefer if you do your CPE through a CPE accredited institution. So, yeah.
No, thank you.
He didn't pay me for
No. I haven't paid you yet. So what I'd like to do is just quickly go through the 10 Commandments, because you all can read and you can look at them more at your leisure. But these are just things to remember as you think about applying to an ACPE center for clinical pastoral education. The first one is, submitting an application does not guarantee that you will be interviewed. Please remember, especially in the Bay Area, each center usually gets about 50 or 60 applications for 5 or 6 slots. So, if you submit an application, you've got a 1 in 10 shot of getting a slot. Usually a center interviews about half of the people that, whose applications they receive. So you got a 1 in 2 chance of being interviewed, but you have a 1 in 10 chance total of being accepted. This is not because you all are bad people. This is because people like coming to the Bay Area, so we tend to be popular. CPE in the summer, do it in San Francisco, that sort of thing. Second thing, an ACPE center will always ask you the same questions on the application. We all use the same application form. We may have differences in terms of how much we charge for the application fee, but we all use the same questions, and they're all essay questions. So spend time writing your responses to those questions, because you can use them over and over again. It's not like the college essays, where you had to kind of tailor the essays in order to fit the questions that the college was asking. Same questions for each center. So you do one set of responses, and it can go to any of the centers. A typical good ACPE application response would be about 8 to 10 pages, usually single-spaced. And you'll see when you look at the questions why it takes that much paper to write, because we ask you to do a reasonably full account of your life. Oh my gosh, that's a page right there. So